Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Lily. I am so happy you're here with me. Happy November. I am still working on beautiful fall projects, and today I am going to be making some more fall little house envelope pockets just like these. Look at how stinking cute these are. I know that I made some recently, but these are a little bit different. For these, I've used beautiful scrapbooking papers. I used this beautiful window die and then embellishments from my stash. Here is another. Look at how cute. I love the gold foil. Can't get enough of all of that gold foil. And do you want to know how I make these? I take a plain Kraft envelope and transform it into what I like to call my signature little house envelope pockets. Do you want to learn how to make these? Let's go over to the Crafty Loft and let's get our craft on. I'm having so much fun going through all of my fall and autumn embellishments, things that I've had in my stash for a long time, plus also a few new things. I'm going to be focusing on all those cute little embellishments that I have, and I'm going to use some of these beautiful scrapbooking papers that I have left over from a few fall junk journals that I recently made. If you'd like to see those, I'll have that video linked up above and in the description area below. These are so pretty, keeping with the theme of the sunflower and all of the beautiful colors that you'll find outside during this fall season, especially here in northern Utah. Lots of beautiful color outside. I'm pointing out that I'm using a washi tape that I received as a gift from Anna at Lace Boutique 1. We did a collaboration a while back, and I love this washi tape. I'll have more information and the link to her Etsy shop in the description area below. But I love how these turned out. I love also all of those little pops of gold foil. Just can't get enough of the gold foil. I'm bringing up one of the recent fall journals that I made. I actually still have a few in my Etsy shop, and I'll have my Etsy shop in the description area below. But I'd like to show you how I use my signature little house envelope pockets in the junk journals. I like to clip them on the very first page of the signatures, and just with a large paper clip. It is a floating pocket. I also like to tuck in a nice little journaling card in the pocket. I just love making these little house envelope pockets. I've been making them now for a few years, and I do have an entire playlist of all the different styles that I have made throughout the years, and I will have that video for you in the description area below. If you have any questions about anything in today's video, please feel free to leave me your questions and your comments in the comment section below. I am using a Kraft colored envelope for these little house envelope pockets. I've used all kinds of different envelopes, junk mail envelopes and also plain white envelopes. But because I want to keep in theme with the fall, I think the Kraft color is perfect for these little houses. And I've had these for a while. I did purchase them on Amazon. I do have an Amazon storefront. If you'd like more information about these envelopes, I'll have my storefront link in the description area below. These are some of the beautiful leftover scraps of paper that I have from making the junk journals and also all of the other little house envelope pockets. I had a question about the paper pad when I did the flip through of the journals. This is a paper pad from 2020. It is by American Crafts, DCWV, and it is called Floral Couture. These papers are absolutely gorgeous, and they're the colors that I am using this fall season. So many beautiful shades of purple and just so many beautiful papers. I'm also going to use all of these random embellishments that I have been collecting over the years from different places. Some of them are from Dollar Tree, others are from other craft stores like Hobby Lobby. from Michael's. I have things that I bought from Joann's a while back. I collect things or I buy things, and then I just put them in their own little craft area. I do have a few craft keepers for fall, and that's where I keep all of these. I especially love this cute little wreath that I picked up from Joann's years ago. It is by Jolie's Boutique, and I haven't had the opportunity to use it, but I thought, how cute would it be to add this one little wreath onto one of the little French doors. Oh, it's so stinking cute. Wait till you see. And I'm out of these wooden pumpkins that I believe I picked up at the Dollar Tree a couple years ago. But I have these. These are more dimensional and a lot more ornate. I'm just going through my stash, and let's see how everything works together. This is one of my favorite dies, and I actually received a Christmas card last year from Angie Wiley, and she had this window on the front of the Christmas card. I immediately went online looking for it. I found it and I ordered it, and it has been one of my most favorite dies. I have it in my Amazon storefront. If you would like more information on that one, I'll have all of those links in the description area below. Okay, the very first thing I am going to do is seal the envelope. The nice thing about this envelope is that it comes with a sticky strip. I don't have to use any glue, and I'm definitely not licking these envelopes. So I'm going to make 2 of the Little House envelope pockets. I was going to make more, but for the sake of time, I will just do 2. I made a whole bunch off camera. I'm showing you here that I am going to keep the plain side on the reverse of the little house, and right where the flap is, I'm going to keep that on the front of the little house because I'm going to cover it with these scrapbooking papers anyway. But whichever side you use, it really doesn't matter. But because I like to use the back for even more journaling, I'm going to keep the smooth side on the back. Before I fold the roof of this little house, I'm going to cut a sliver off of one of the ends, the top end, because these in essence are going to be pockets. So I need to create an opening. And I'm going to go through all of these steps. I've made so many, maybe thousands by now. I don't know, because when I sit down to make these Little House envelope pockets, I'll make anywhere between 20 and 30 at a time. And I've been making these for several years, so maybe I've made thousands. Who knows? I don't keep track. I'm using my ruler to show you where I am folding at about 6.5 inches. Because I have been making these for so long, I don't typically measure, but I want you to have a visual and kind of estimate right around what measurements I typically use. So right at the 6.5 inch mark, I'm going to fold that top end to create the roof. And then the next step, I am going to begin to cut to create the actual pocket. I'm going to mark 1/2 inch below the fold line, because we're going to make a couple of cuts. When I do this part, I don't usually measure, but I want to show you about 1/2 inch because this is what is going to create the inside of the pocket, making it easier to place things and remove things out of the pocket. That little 1/2 inch gap really does make a difference. And so I just mark about 1/2 inch past that fold line. And now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim the sides of that top part. And I'm only going to cut right to where that pencil line is. I'm going to do the second one without marking it because by now I can kind of eyeball and guesstimate where that 1/2 inch mark is. And then I just stop right there. And then I am going to fold it over. When I fold it over, I'm going to be very gentle because I don't want it to tear more than that 1/2 inch mark. And if you pull the paper over gently, I'm going to pull it over to the right-hand side, it's actually going to catch and stop right where the cut marks are. And I'm going to gently press it down and crease it. If you pull too hard, you will tear the edges, but there's always a way to remedy it. And I'm going to show you in just a moment. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I make the base of the little house envelope pockets. This excess piece or this flap, I'm going to trim away, and I'll just save this piece of scrap for something else. I'll get back to this in just a moment because I am going to glue down that little flap. But that is how the little house envelope pocket takes its shape. I'm going to repeat the process with the second one. I'm not going to bother marking 1/2 inch. I'm just going to eyeball it. And I'm going to trim the sides, do the exact same thing, I just didn't mark it. Kind of guesstimate where that 1/2 inch mark is. I've gotten really good with my measurements, only because I have been making these for a really long time. And I can't wait to move on to create some new Christmas little house envelope pockets. But right now, I'm still in the mood for all the fall things, but it's getting really close. It's getting down to crunch time. I'm hoping I will have all the time so that I can begin working on Christmas projects. But for now, I'm going to focus on these. I'm going to trim that excess again, and I save these little scraps for other things. They'll always come in handy. So I just place them in my scrapping box or my scrap paper box. I'm going to seal that tiny little flap just so it stays down when I begin to layer the scrapbooking papers over it. This acrylic block comes in so handy. It helps keep things pressed so that they glue or stick to each other quicker. I don't know, but I just love this large acrylic block, and you can see I've been using it for more than just for stamping with. There's all kinds of glue on it. I should really clean it up. And I just let this sit for a couple of minutes, making sure that little flap is glued down. And now the next step is I am going to use these beautiful scrapbooking papers to cover the front of the little house pocket. It's really tough when using double-sided papers, but I just went with it and made a decision. Measure the width of your envelopes. These are standard number 10 envelopes, and they measure about 4 1/16 of an inch wide, but sometimes they vary by size. So measure the width of your envelope and then cut your papers to the width of the pocket. I'd already cut these because I had made several off camera. I like to use the Ultimate Glue. This is like a super white glue, and I love it. And I'm running low. I really had to shake these bottles to try to get the most out of the glue. And now I'm just going to carefully place the scrapbooking paper over it, smooth all of the glue out. I like to use this large scraper, which used to belong to my dad, but I borrowed it from his toolbox. It's the perfect size for smoothing out the papers, especially when using the wet glue. And I'm going to cut the bottom. In other little house envelope pockets that I've made, I'll usually leave 1 or 2 inches excess and then fold it over. But today, I'm just going to trim it flush to that bottom edge. Every single time that I make little house envelope pockets, I make them a little bit different. There's always new ideas, and there's always more than one way to do something. I'm going to do the same thing and repeat the steps with this second little house. This one was tricky because both sides of this paper is beautiful, but I didn't overthink it. I didn't want to think about it too much. And then place it down, and again, I will just trim to the very bottom of the edge. If you want to, you could leave 1 or 2 inches at the bottom and then fold over to the back, and that'll leave more of a decorative element on the reverse side. And I'm sure you've seen me do that in other little house envelope pockets. In fact, I will link a video for you up above with the most recent little fall envelope houses that I made just a couple weeks ago. Or I did that. I just folded over the bottom. Trimming up the sides of the paper, it was just a little bit too wide. These are going to be so beautiful. By the way, I'm still working on a few other fall projects and maybe even a few more fall journals. I know. I was only going to work on two or three fall journals, and I ended up making a ton. It's hilarious. My sister's always teasing me about that. One of the papers from the scrapbooking pad had all of these strips of almost like just these, what am I trying to say? These horizontal strips of different decorative papers or designs, not papers, designs. And I thought it would be perfect to use it as part of the roof. And I'm going to trim it a little bit longer than the roof itself, about 1 inch beyond that fold line. And I was pointing out because once I fold the roof down, it'll leave a really nice finish at the very top. So the roof is about, I want to say the roof is about 3 inches in length, and I trimmed the paper to 4 inches in length. It's not as wide as the roof, but I'm going to fix that by adding some of this black washi tape to the edges, and this will camouflage the roof, and you won't even be able to tell that the little paper is not wide enough. And I've done some other, I've paper pieced it with other little house envelope pockets when my papers aren't quite wide enough. Then I just use scraps of paper to cover up the edges. But because there is black on this paper, I thought the black washi tape would coordinate well. And then once I place my little piece of scrapbooking paper over that roof, do you see how it works well and it's kind of camouflaged? You don't see that Kraft paper coming through. Just a little trick there for you. And here I'm showing you how on one of the sides, the little scrapbooking paper was a little bit short, but we fix things. We fix things with washi tape, with scraps of paper. We make it work. This is where I was beginning to just empty out that glue bottle. I am almost out of my ultimate glue, but I am shaking that bottle vigorously off camera to try to squeeze out every last little drop. I'm also out of glue sticks, which makes me feel really good knowing that I am going through all of my supplies. Because I've shown you in the past how some of my supplies, like glue, has gone bad because I hoard the glue and then the glue dries up for some reason. I'm going to set that down for just a moment and let that dry. And I'm going to do the same thing with the second one. This little scallop design on that bottom edge is so pretty. And the gold foil, this has been one of my favorite paper pads. And I did buy 2 of them, and I'm almost out of both. I've used this paper so much. I'm going to do the same and add the black washi tape on both edges. By the way, this washi tape has been my favorite. It's not really called washi tape. It's a masking tape that I picked up in California from not Etsy. Oh my gosh, my mind went blank. Daiso. I had a small Daiso haul. Eddie and I went to Little Tokyo in downtown LA, and I popped into Daiso and bought a few things. And I saw this black washi tape, and I only bought one because I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, how it felt. But it is super sticky. It has this matte finish. Oh, I love it so much. I gotta stop by a Daiso so I can grab another one because, yeah, it's one of those things that I really, really like. Plus, I love using little pops of black in my work. I know I've mentioned that in the past. This little glue stick is extra strength. That's all I'm pointing out. Extra strength Elmer's glue. I needed a glue stick recently. I was working on something and I like using glue stick and I didn't have any, and I ran over to Michael's, and the only glue stick they have there is the Elmer's brand, but I needed something really strong, and so I came across this one that says it's extra strength, and it really is. It's really, really sticky. But that's the last little stick of glue that I have. But I'm not getting any because I have other kinds of glue that I need to go through as well. And now I'm going to add, I want to point out here, see the little edge right there where the paper kind of lifts on both sides? I'm going to fix that. So what if when you were cutting that 1/2 inch on the side, what if you cut more than you needed to? Or, what if you tore it when you were folding it over, or because I've done that. The way to fix it is to wrap washi tape around that very top edge, and that reinforces the sides. And it also prevents from tearing even more, because as we open that pocket to add things, to remove things, those little edges are susceptible to more tears. To prevent that, I came up with the idea to wrap washi tape all the way around. And this washi tape is perfect. It's nice and wide, and the colors coordinate so well. And I'm going to wrap it all the way around. And it adds a nice little decorative piece to the back of the pocket. It's nice and sticky, and I'm just going to trim it right to the end. And this is how I repair the edges if I would have torn it more than I needed to. Look at how nice and smooth that finish is. It doesn't have the little gaps. It doesn't show where the little papers are lifting. Makes it for a nice, smooth, and finished look. Nice and polished is what I'm trying to say. And look at how pretty the back looks. You would think all of these papers and washi tapes were created together. Doing the same for the second one. And sometimes I will use wider washi tape or thinner washi tape. It doesn't matter. The thinner one works just as fine or just as well. The point here is to seal the edges. Because these are meant to be used as floating pockets in the junk journals, I don't do too much decor or embellishing on the back, because if you want to, you could journal on the back of these envelope pockets. These are also great for gift giving. And instead of using a traditional greeting card, you can make one of these and tuck a gift in the pocket. And I know I've mentioned this so many times. You can add a gift card or money into the pocket and then write your sentiment on the back. I'm going to use this collage medium because it has that nice tip. It's perfect for working with smaller die cuts. I'm going to add a bead of glue. I'm not going to glue the bottom. I don't need it. One of my favorite dies. This purple shade of paper is one of my favorites. I've mentioned many times that I struggle with the color purple, but not deep purple. Deep purple I love. And this one, I think this paper is called Blackberry Bliss from Stampin' Up. I've had it for a long, long time. And I think I don't know what their inventory is like, but I bought this, and I bought so many packs of it because they were discontinuing this color. You know how they change color every year? And this was one of my favorites. So I bought so many packs of this Blackberry Bliss. And then I think there was such a demand for it, they brought it back. I don't know if it's still there, but I still have plenty, plenty to use. But it coordinates so well with all of the other colors that I'm using for these fall houses. I'm looking outside. So I'm in my office right now, and I'm looking outside the window to my neighbor's house across the street, and they have these big, beautiful bushes. And those bushes are Blackberry Bliss. They are a deep purple right now. I'm telling you, I took inspiration from nature to create my projects right now, including the junk journals I just made and all of these envelope houses. It's using colors that are existing right now in nature outside. It is so beautiful. If you've been here in northern Utah, the colors right now are amazing. I've not been to Wyoming, but I've been told that Wyoming during the fall season is even more gorgeous than Utah. I'll have to take a drive. It's not very far from here. But I think I'm too late in the season right now. Maybe next year. I took some of these glittered little leaf stickers. I removed the backing. I didn't want too much dimension. And I just kind of poked it right through the little door. I don't know if this is a window die or a French door die, but it can be used as a window or as a door. I have these pumpkin stickers. They are so pretty. I'm going to use this smaller one. This one is much lighter. It's made of paper, and I'm going to attach it. The other one, I believe, is made of resin. It's kind of heavy and larger than what I would like. See how I think it's too large for the little house pocket. But I have other embellishments. These little acorns. These are not like real stickers. These are window clings that I bought at Hobby Lobby a few years ago, but I use them as stickers. I add a little bit of glue to make them permanent. And now the fun part. I get to use this beautiful little wreath. OMG, it is so stinking cute. I've had it for years. I've wanted to use it for years. I just didn't know how. And as I was going through all of my embellishments, I thought, how perfect for it to be right over one of the little doors on my little house envelope pockets. And look at how beautiful that is going to look. By the way, I will have another video coming up in the next day or two where I am going to recreate this little wreath. I'm going to show you how you can DIY that little wreath. OMG, if you are not subscribed, please, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. If this is the type of content that you enjoy watching, and if this is the type of projects that you like working on, subscribe to my channel, and I'll have a new video coming up super soon, the next day or two. And we're going to recreate these super cute little wreaths. I showed my sister what I was working on, and she just couldn't believe it because they turned out so stinking cute. I'm not going to give away too much information because I want you to stick around and watch the videos that I have planned for you. I've got tons of content coming up. Isn't that so stinking cute? I can't get over how cute this is. And I only have the one for today's video. But as I was going through my stash, I found the second one. I knew I had two of them. But I'm going to save that one, reserve that one for the next video. So cute. So cute. And this is the fun part of making these little house envelope pockets. They're whimsical. And you get to use all of your little supplies. And if you don't have some of these, store-bought supplies, we can always make our own. This is where we can get our creative juices flowing, use our imagination, and embellish till our heart's desire. Now that the top of the roof has had plenty of time to dry, I'm now going to fold it over. I'm using this scraper as a guide, and I'm going to crease that top, really pressing down on that top crease makes it so that the roof stays somewhat closed. I'm following the marking of the fold line, and then folding over and pressing and creasing. I'm going to reinforce that top crease with my bone folder. That kind of helps it stay down, stay closed. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Well, I think so. I think they're really cute. And now it's time to add what I like to call my faux chimney. Faux chimney, and I use all kinds of different things. I'll use flowers, leaves, just random things to give it the look of a chimney. And I like how it's going to pop out a little bit at the top, so I'm only going to add glue to the bottom half of this large sunflower. And this is the last of the sunflowers that I have. These are made from felt. I also picked these up at Hobby Lobby. And I had tons of them, but that is the very last one. And I'm positioning it so it looks like it is a chimney. Oh, I love that so much. My sister was telling me that I have a large sunflower stamp with a die, a matching die. I should make my own. I was telling her that I was out of the sunflowers. Maybe I should, but not right now. I don't have time for that right now. I'm busy working on other things. I'm going to take one of these large leaf cling-on stickers, window clings, and I'm going to use this one as a faux chimney. It's sticky all the way on the back. I'm going to reinforce it with some of this glue. I have been shaking this glue off camera, and so I was able to get a little bit more out of it. So it's going to pop out a little bit at the top, and it's sticky. I'm going to show you how I'm going to remove the sticky from the two little leaves that are protruding at the top. I'm going to take my little powder tool, and I have two different kinds. I have this one on the right, which is by EK Success. It has the same stuff in it. I think it's cornstarch and a little brush. I'm just going to pounce a little bit of the powder onto that glue surface area. But if you don't have that one, I know most of you have this little powder pillow. It looks like a little pillow. And I'm going to remove the excess with one of my brushes. And this is what removes sticky. So it is no longer sticky. And how perfect is that? And look at how beautiful it looks. Use what you have. I've said this many times. Your stash is going to look different from my stash. Use your imagination, use your supplies, shop your stash, and maybe you do have some of these things that I have. I like to include journaling cards into the pocket. I'm showing you here that I colored mine. So this is this beautiful vintage stamp. I picked this up at the thrift store, and it is a rubber stamp from like the mid-90s. I stamped these with waterproof black ink onto either mixed media paper or watercolor paper, so that if you've ever ordered one of my journals, I usually pop one of these cards into the pocket, and they are for you to color. You can use coloring pencils, markers, alcohol markers. You can use paint, whatever you like. Leaving that little 1/2 inch gap makes it easy so that you can easily remove the contents. And these are the newer fall little house envelope pockets. I love how they turned out. I sure hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope that you make some of these. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I appreciate you. Please don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss future videos. I'm still working on a few more fall projects, so stick around for that. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. You guys are awesome. Happy November. Look outside your window because it's absolutely gorgeous out there. You guys take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.